On the morning of November 15, 2004, the neighbors of Brockley Drive in Delmar, New York, saw a perfectly normal Monday unfolding. The air was crisp, the sky was gray, and at house number 36, the lights were on. Inside, 52-year-old court clerk Peter Porco was starting his day. He brushed his teeth. He used the toilet. He walked to the kitchen, packed his lunch for work, and loaded the dishwasher. He even walked down the driveway to collect the morning mail. To anyone watching, Peter was just a man preparing for a long week at the office, but according to the medical examiner, Peter Porco had been murdered hours earlier. While he was living his morning routine, Peter was technically a walking corpse. He was a ghost trapped in a biological machine that refused to quit. This is the story of the most chilling, automated morning in true crime history. Let's look at the Murderpedia archives to reconstruct the night before. Around 2 a.m., an intruder entered the home using a hidden key. They moved with a terrifying familiarity. They didn't go for the silver or the electronics. They went upstairs, to the master bedroom. Armed with a heavy, long-handled fireman's axe, the intruder attacked Peter and his wife, Joan. As they slept, the brutality was extreme. Peter was struck multiple times in the head, his skull fractured, his jaw shattered. One blow was so powerful it severed part of his frontal lobe. Joan suffered even worse facial trauma. The intruder, satisfied that no one could survive such an onslaught, cleaned the axe in the sink and vanished into the night. In any other case, the story ends here. But Peter Porco's brain was wired differently. This is where the case moves from true crime into medical horror. Forensic pathologists later explained that the axe had missed Peter's brainstem, the part of the brain that controls your heartbeat and breathing. His thinking brain, the part that processes pain, identity, and logic, was effectively gone. But his procedural memory, the part that knows how to tie your shoes or make coffee, was still firing. Peter got out of bed. He stepped over the blood-soaked carpet and went to the bathroom. He stood in front of the vanity mirror, likely looking directly at his own catastrophic injuries, but the logic centers of his brain were offline. He didn't see a dying man, he saw a man who needed to shave. He went downstairs. He loaded the dishwasher. He sat at the kitchen table and signed a check to his son, Christopher, for $500. He then walked out the front door, down the driveway, and retrieved the newspaper. Imagine being a neighbor, waving hello to a man who, medically speaking, was already dead. He walked back inside, locked the door, and only then, perhaps because of the physical exertion or the cold air, did his blood pressure drop. He collapsed in the foyer and finally, mercifully, passed away. When the police arrived later that afternoon, they found a house that looked like a slaughterhouse. But in the middle of the gore, there were signs of mundane life. The dishwasher was running. The mail was on the counter. The investigation didn't take long. Peter's son, Christopher Porco, was a student at the University of Rochester. He was deeply in debt, had been caught forging his father's name on loans, and had a history. In 2006, Christopher Porco was found guilty of second-degree murder and attempted murder. He was sentenced to 50 years to life. To this day, he maintains his innocence from behind the bars of the Clinton Correctional Facility, but for the town of Delmar, the tragedy isn't just about the betrayal of a son. It's about the image of Peter Porco. It's the image of a man so dedicated to his life, his family, and his routine, that even after his life was stolen from him, he spent his final moments trying to make sure the dishwasher was clean and the bills were paid. He was a man who performed the impossible. He lived through his own death, just to finish his chores. The Porco case remains a staple of forensic study. You can read the full autopsy breakdown and the SK Confessions comparison on Murderpedia. It's a rabbit hole you won't soon forget.